or that new idea that you've got.
Microsoft Reactor connects you with the developers and startups that share your goals.
Learn new skills, meet new peers, and discover the latest in technology.
Events are running around the clock, so join us anytime, anywhere.
Reactors are communities to connect. We want you to meet real developers and entrepreneurs just like you. Here you can get skilled up and learn from our product experts in the Microsoft Cloud and in open source. So watch us on demand and share your own perspective as we live stream in communities all around the world.
Good morning, and thank you all for joining us today. My name is Rashmita, and I'm the event planner for Microsoft Reactor Bengaluru, India. This session will run over the next 1.5 hours, including Q&A. But before we begin, please take a moment to read our code of conduct. We are all here to learn together, so please be respectful of other people's views, understanding of differences, being kind and considerate in the way you engage. The chat will be open throughout, and we do encourage you all to participate. I would now like to welcome Dixit, our speaker for today's session. Dixit started his journey with Microsoft in 2015 as a part of IIS team and later moved to Azure. During his cloud journey, he has worked in various PAAS technologies like Azure App Services, Azure Function, and many more. Currently, he is a part of Fast Track team helping startups in their cloud journey. But for now, I will hand over to Dixit to begin the session. Let me bring in Dixit. Hey, hi, Dixit.
Hey, good morning,
You
Rashmita.
you probably need to just switch on the camera for some time, and then once you start the session, then probably switch over to the presentation mode.
Sure. Hey, good morning, Rashmita.
Hi, good morning. So yeah, I mean, all floor is all yours, so we can start the session. So let me bring in your slide. Yes, and you can go to your presentation. Yeah. Thank you, audience. Enjoy the session, and I'll be your Dikshit. Any question if comes, then probably I'll just stop you in by, and then can just answer all your questions. Thank you. Over to you.
Sure. Thank you, Rashmita, and thanks everyone for joining the session. So today, what we are planning to cover in the next 1 hour, followed by the Q&A, is the framework that we have for hosting your application on the Azure cloud, which is called Azure Well-Architected Framework. Rashmita, I hope we can probably start it, right?
Yes, yes, Dikshit. Yeah.
Sure. Thank you. Give me 1 minute. S- Sure. So, so today's agenda, what we are going to cover is what is WAF, or the Well Architecture Framework. What are the pillars that we have in the Microsoft Azure Well Architecture Framework, and on the basis of those pillars, what are the things as a solution architect, as a developer, or as a admin? What are those things we need to make sure we can do at the beginning of the you can see when we are solutioning the architect, or even we are in the middle stage, or even at whatever stage we are in uh, solutioning the application on the Azure things, and what are the resources available on the public documentations, what are the tools available, so that we can have those pillars and able to evaluate that what all things we need to make sure that all the pillars and all the recommendations that we have in the Microsoft Well Architecture Frameworks can be applied, and we can have those things implemented at the ground level in the application running on the Azure. So first of all, uh, what is Well Architect Framework and why it is important? So nowadays, as we are knowing that probably in the earlier days we are running our application on the on-prem world, and now we are moving everything to the cloud. So when we are say cloud, so obviously there are many services which we are leveraging to improve the productivity and to improve the security, how we can reduce the cost and all other things. Now when we are running our applications, so it can be a case that we have our applications, but we have not thought the couple of important pillars that make our applications cost effective, that make our application scalable, that make our application secure according to the compliance, according to the industry that we are working on. So keeping all those things in mind, so that we are compliant to the industry that we are working in, our solution is secure, and when we are growing, we have the resiliency, we have the performance, and we have the cost effectiveness in driving the solution that we are working on. So in those aspects, the well architect framework should be there, or you can say we should apply those principles that falls under the well architected framework, so that the four or the five pillars of the well architected frameworks can have those recommendations implemented at the solution level. So first of all, before going to what are the pillars of the well architecture framework, the most common thing that uh, why well architecture framework is important. So obviously when we are implementing those pillars, and under those pillars when we implement those recommendations, as a developer or as a cloud solution architect or as a DevOps guy, we are able to implement couple of things. When we say couple of things, it can be the security, it can be the cost, it can be the performance efficiency, and so on. So why we need it? To make it so whatever solutions we are running on the Azure cloud, we are able to work it as per the expectation or as per the experience the customer is looking for. Moving on to uh, the the pillars that we have under the well architecture framework, and what are the offerings, and what are the various tools and services, and what are the other services that we have, so that it can if somebody wants to avail it, where it can go, where it can start, and what are those things. So to start with, so the Microsoft Well Architecture Framework has five pillars. And what are those five pillars? It is cost optimization, operation excellence, performance efficiency, reliability, and security. So these are the five pillars that are there in the Microsoft Well Architecture Frameworks. And as a architect, as a developer, or as a DevOps guy, obviously my first question would be where to get started. What are the tools available? How do I know that out of all those five pillars, which things I need to start first, or which thing I need to implement first? So that the precise answer to these queries will be it totally depends upon your journey, and it doesn't need that all those five pillars that we are going to discuss, and which are showing on the slide, should be implemented at once. So it is a journey. You can start it from anywhere uh, during your journey, and you can implement all those things and the recommendations that we have. So also we have the very comprehensive documentation, the public documentations in the where we can have those resources, lay down the instructions and the recommendations and the other things that you need to follow that while implementing all those pillars. Obviously we have also the reference architectures. For example, if I'm working on the containerization, so and I'm working on developing some of the architectures on the other containerization applications, what is the reference point I can get that, so that I can implement the other architectures that we have. So for those we have the reference architectures in the architecture centers available only. Those links, those resources will be shared during the presentation, and obviously will be there after this has been completed. So the first thing is the public documentations, and the second thing that we are discussing about is the resources that we have for the inbuilt the architectural references. We have it for every technology, whether it is for the IaaS, whether it is for the PaaS, whether it is for the app services. So even uh, during the for everything that we have, for every Azure technology, whatever DB you want to configure it, networking expect, PaaS expects, IaaS specs, uh, uh, you can say disaster recovery, backup, for each of these particular topics, we have the reference architecture. So as a developer, uh, as a cloud solution architect, you can refer those things. The next thing is the design principles. So the pillars and the design principles that we are going to discuss, and obviously the even we have the tools available. Uh, for example, I have an application running on Azure, and as of now, I have not implemented any of these, or let's say I am not aware what are all those things I need to implement in my running solution so that it can comply with the best recommendations that we have from the well architecture framework. So we have the tool available which is called the Azure Well Architected Review. You can put it your solution, and it will uh, uh, run the analytics on the running solution that you have on Azure, and based on those analytics, it will segregate those recommendations based on the core principles that we have regarding the cost, security, reliability, performance, and the operation excellence. And obviously, in addition to that, we have certain services and the CSP partners who can work directly on the ground with the customers at any scales, and will be able to implement all those things in your running solution architecture running on the Azure cloud. Any questions till now? Okay, then we can move on. So what is the exactly? So this is the 5 pillars that we have in the Azure Wall architecture framework. So we will discuss each thing one by one, and probably also I will also show you the couple of the tools available that we have. And for each particular slide that we have, I also have the links available on the slide itself, that if you want to refer this after the sessions, you can avail it quite easily and able to reference those resources. Now first is the cost optimization. As we know that the uh, when we are running our solution on the cloud, so sometimes we are not aware what is the cost it will take, and what is the cost it will incur when we are growing at a larger scale. So for example, let's say let's say you are utilizing certain VMs, certain VM skill set, and also you are utilizing certain PaaS services, whether it can be Azure Functions or the Kubernetes or any DBs at scales, and you have certain scale out rules that during the morning hours you can probably scaling out your instances or the worker nodes from certain ABC to certain limits, and during your business off hours you are reducing those. But eventually you are planning to onboard more solutions and onboarding more customers, and on the basis of that, you can try to predict that what is my cost optim what is that particular cost that I will have it probably in the due course of time. And also the most important thing is that whatever solution or whatever resources or whatever uh, the Azure services I'm running on, I'm running it whether I'm using it fulliest or I'm using those resources underutilized. Even those things, for example, if my application is running on certain particular instance, uh, you can say on a VM which is having certain configurations, but I'm running those applications on a higher configurations. So there is no need to run that particular instances on a higher configurations. You can able to achieve your application or able to achieve the customer experiences which you are looking on a smaller configurations. So all those things regarding that, you can able to save cost, can be captured by the pillar which is called cost optimizations. And we do have a tool which is called Azure Advisor. Under that Azure Advisor, there is a cost optimization tab in the Azure portal itself, which will give you the precise recommendations running on your running solutions. I will reiterate. It will give you the precise recommendations on your running solutions running in the Azure. So on the same lines, so we have the operation excellence. So when we say operational excellence, uh, obviously when we are running our solutions, it is not only the prod environment that we are running, because prod environment, and or you can say it is the end environment that we are exposing to the customer, and where everything is working. But before that also we have the dev qa uh, QA, UAT environment, pre-prod or staging environment, where we keep on doing the deployments, and uh, the testing team or the developers keep on pushing the further updates, and test those components, and deploy those components. So under operation excellence, how we are making sure that all those environments that we have created during the deployments are seamless, and we get the you can say the exact requirement every time when we try to deploy it, or when we try to create the new environment. So under the operation excellence, you can think of that whenever you are trying to create the new environment, try to create uh, by the scripts. When we say by the scripts, either you can use the ARM templates, either you can use the terraforms, or either you can use the biceps, so that it can give you the predictability that you are looking for as a customer, that whenever I'm spinning up the new environment, or I'm spinning up the new Azure, you get the exact clear predictability that this is going to come and this is what I'm expecting. Because in many cases we have seen that whenever when we are not doing by the by the scripting languages, by the biceps or the ARM templates or by the Terraform scripts, sometimes there are certain components or third party libraries or third party binaries uh, which are needed uh, to spin that particular respective environment, and those are get missed when we those have those the templates available for spinning that particular environment. So under operational excellence, uh, obviously the CI/CD pipelines, the DevOps pipelines will also come into the picture. It the only uh, you can say the parameter, the most important comes as a part of operational excellence, that in a day-to-day basis, how we are making sure that whatever I'm spinning, whatever I'm trying to spin the new environment, and whatever new updates I'm going to deploy as a part of solutions, will have the uniform experience across all developers, and uniform experience across all the environments that we have. So all those the couple of things that we discussed now comes as a part of operational excellence. Again, coming to the third pillar that we have is the performance efficiency. Now there is a new saying that uh, uh, slow slow systems nowadays does not seem to work at all, because nowadays we get so many business requirements that always looking about how we can scale out the existing solutions that is running on the cloud. So we need to make sure that whenever we are testing our applications with respect to the benchmark numbers that we are looking, we always have those rigorous testing tools available, so that we can able to perform certain testing, that even when my application is running on one instance, or my application is running on multiple instances, my application is able to know that yes, I'm running on multiple instances, and I'm aware that I'm running on Azure cloud, so that even if there is a certain burst in the number of users trying to access the applications, there is never a scenario that my users base or my customers base will have the bad performance experience. So to cover that particular uh, you can say the benchmark number, please make sure that you keep the you can say the performance testing or the unit testings available in the application code, in the application code itself, before deploying anything to the Azure cloud. And you do the thorough testings uh, uh, while deploying the application to the Azure clouds. And even for those performance efficiency, we have the recommendations available, and even for the operation excellence in the Azure Advisor itself. Before uh, in this particular session, we will also go through the Azure Advisor, as I mentioned earlier. So it will give you the real time recommendations on your running solutions. So all those things will be there, and you will be able to capture as a part of advisory under your Azure portal, and as a developer or as a cloud solution architect, you will be able to work on those. Then comes the fourth part, reliability. Now, as we are scaling, so obviously there is always a need to scale, probably within a region, or let's say going multi regions. So, and also we need to make sure that even if, while having the benchmark numbers with respect to the performance are in place, we are doing the uh, operational excellence with respect to the deployments, the CI/CD pipelines, and the cost optimizations. We are need to make sure that whenever there is certain issue in the application, in the application running on the cloud itself, we need to make sure that we have uh, the application is resilient enough so that it will not able to affect the customer experience. Now, the issue can be at the instance level, then the issue can be at the couple of the couple of VMs, or we can say at the rack level or at the data center levels. So how as a architect, or how as a developer, I'm able to mitigate those and able to implement those, uh, the core pillars of reliability, that even if my application is running on those uh, instances, even if there is any particular issues, I'm able to serve my customers. So under those reliability benchmark parameters, you can have the availability sets. For example, if you're utilizing, uh, just for the example, let's say if you're running on the VM scale set, if you're running on a VM, then you can probably go for the availability sets, availability zones options, and you can go for the VNet peering. If you are going with the multi regions, then the how you are distributing traffic between the two regions, by either by the front door or either by the traffic manager. And even while what is the cadence of the backups that we are taking, what is the SLA that we have given to our customers. Under that SLA, what is the RTO and what is the RPO numbers that we have, um, in accordance with your customers. So all those things we need to make sure that uh, we need to be quite resilient, and the application should implement retry logic whenever there is something, you can say, whenever there is a transient errors, uh, running on the cloud. So all those things should be well implemented. And even on the same lines, on even for this pillar, the reliability pillar, we do have those recommendations available in the advisory tool that we have. And then comes as a part of the last framework that we have as a security pillar. Now, security is quite unique to every customers, but in general there are some uh, you can say the benchmark or the baseline things that every customer is looking for. So for example, if I'm running my if my application is serving the fun if I'm application or a solution is serving the financial domain, then my compliance would be little different from the customer running in the retail domain. So based on the domain that you are running, even the security benchmark the security benchmark will differ in comparison to the other customers. But in general, uh, we need to make sure that data that you are storing is encrypted. The data that you have, uh, is it geo replicated or not? That comes as a part of reliability also. Then before accessing the applications, is there any particular WAF or the Azure firewall that you have put in place? Is there any particular Azure policies that you have implemented even at the subscription level before coming down to the applications? Even before coming to the subscription level, if there is any particular Azure policies uh, that you have implemented at the tenant level. So all those things, and even uh, in addition to this, the policies, the firewalls, the DOS attacks, um, the encryptions, um, we can also try to consider or must implement certain RBAC policies according to the various roles that many developers or the many cloud solution architects working on that particular applications. So on those things, all those various things that we have discussed can be very well covered under the security thing. Now it covers and it talks about lot many things. The most important and the fundamental question is how to get it started, and how do I know that what all things I need to implement, or at least give me the most important things from where I can start, and then probably I can take a look at the other things which I can probably implement in the due course of time. So just give me 1 minute. So before moving on, any questions from anybody? So let me say, if I go to the Azure portal, so this is my Azure portal, and uh, on the home screens I have this advisor, or you can put it in the search bar also. You can write it Azure advisor, click on this. So under the overview sections, we have those uh, the 5 pillars that we have discussed just now regarding the cost, security, reliability, and the operation excellence and the performance. So so from this advisor portal that we have in the Azure sections, the customers can go to uh, each respective section and will able to get the running analytics on the running solution on the Azure, and able to figure it out at what all those things they can implement, which will improve all these benchmark pillars that we have as a part of well architecture framework. Before going further, any questions from anyone? I will take a pause here.
We have only one question, Dikshit. I'm just bringing it on the screen so you can see the question on the screen from Ravi.
I'm sorry. Just like less code or codeless app, is there something like design less? So, Ravi, if I'm not wrong, so when we say design less or less code, so can you please elaborate more? And even if, let's say, to the question that you have put in just as a now, if you're talking about from the design perspective, that what are the applications available, or what are the tools available in on the Azure side that you can leverage uh, to form the solution, that then the answer would be the Azure Logic apps. Because in the case of Azure Logic apps, as you can know, it is we have the inbuilt connectors, and with the very less code, by only drag and drop and the actions available, and by leveraging the inbuilt connectors, you will be able to design the business case that you are trying to solve. But yes, in a nutshell, if you are looking for more a design experience in one of the Azure services, then Azure Logic apps would be the way to go. Any more questions from anyone?
No, Dixit.
Okay, then I will go for this. Coming back to the advisory thing, so as I mentioned, uh, it is the it is running the analytics on the backend, and it gives you the live recommendations on your running solutions. I will reiterate again, live recommendations on your running solution. So I have these 5 tabs available under the advisory, under the advisor uh, service. One is the cost, security, reliability, operational excellence, and the performance. So when I click on cost, as of now, it's only saying total recommendations is one, but depending upon your solutions that you have, it can have plenty of recommendations. So you can also select multiple subscriptions. So as of now, you can able to see that I have able to select 26 subscriptions of the 93 subscription that I have. Now coming to the, and also going by the some of the more detailing, when you say when you click on any particular uh, tab, for example in this particular case cost, it give you the total number of recommendations for that particular category. In this particular case it is showing one. It giving you the impact also, whether it is high impact, medium impact, or low impact, and even the number of resources. So you can think of it, for example, just think of it of a number. Let's say if my total recommendation is, let's say, uh, 10, 15, or 100 or 150, and the impact can be one, in the and let's say out of those 10 or 100 or 150 recommendations, I can have those under the high impact or the medium impact and the resources impact. So if I able to uh, correct those recommendations or implement those recommendations, how much cost we will be able to serve. Then but one important thing I will just call it out. There is always, you can say, a balance between the cost and the reliability. Because when we talk about the reliability part, when you thinking of deploying your solutions to the another region, so that whenever there is some certain issue, you will be able to serve your customers from that particular regions, able to avail availability sets, available to avail availability options, the backup options, the tools that we have uh, to achieve those disaster recovery, for example Azure Migrate or ASRs. So those things will have their certain cost include in those activities. So there is always a balance between the reliability that you are looking for and the cost numbers that you are looking for. So my only recommendation is, according to your industry standards, according to your compliance, according to your SLAs that you have given to your customers, and according to your under that SLA terms, according to the RTO and the RPO times that you have given to your customers, you can always take a trade-off between the cost and the reliability. Now coming to the security part again. So as of now, it is not showing nothing, no recommendations for me, but you can have it. Again, coming part as a part of reliability. So here it coming, it is impacting that the total impacted resource under those recommendation is 7. So, and what is the recommendations that we have given? I'm it giving the recommendations that for the outbound connectivity, I should go for the NAT gateway. If I go with the operational excellence, so these are the recommendations that are available, and these are the impacted resources. And even when we uh, the recommendations that we have available under the advisor connections, you'll be able to click on those, and under those you will be able to have those certain recommendations further, that what all steps you need to perform to correct this or to implement at the solution level. Coming back to the performance, nothing showing as of now, so I can click on the all recommendations. So so as of now, as I implemented most of the recommendations that I have, so it only showing this particular number. But I have worked with customers at the enterprise level, at the startup levels. This number can be, believe me, can be really really large. And when you implement those things, under the advisor thing. It can save you a lot of costing and also improve your solution from all the perspective that we have discussed till now in terms of security, reliability, operational, and the performance. Again, I will take a pause and will have the if there is any questions from anyone.
Yes, Dixit, we have two questions. So do you want to just go in the comment section and answer those ones?
Sure. Is Azure Web Application? So Sanjay, yes, the when we say the Azure WAF, even let's say uh, even let's say when you say for the microservices, let's say uh, the fundamental part, or let's say the de facto part in every uh, application in which we are considering microservices is, let's say, Kubernetes. So before Kubernetes, if you want to if you're considering WAF, from the Microsoft recommendation also, we have the application gateway as a WAF. So yes, it is not only for the 3 tier, but even for the microservices, you can have the WAF in front of the microservices so that you can implement the desired security as per your compliance. Even if not from the compliance perspective and even from the security perspective, those are recommended things from the Microsoft side as well. Coming to the next question, does that perform automated mitigations? So answering the modern apps learning question, so it will not uh, mitigate the recommendations automatically. So because, for example, let's say just taking the example, for example, let's say under the cost sections, they are giving you the 5 recommendations that you can leverage the reserve instances. You can uh, uh, whatever resources, that whatever data you have on the storage, you can move it to the cool tier. So for the certain part, it is quite it is readily available or easily available by the click of the by clicking on certain options. But for certain activities, it might need some activity or some operations from your side. So to precisely answer your question, it will not automatically correct those things. You need to uh, uh, go for each recommendations, and according to your uh, application and according to your priority, you can act on those recommendations that are being given on the Azure advisory thing. Then we have the does applying the no. Coming to this particular part, that does applying the well architecture framework depends upon the stage of the project? No. So as I mentioned in the starting, that this will not depend upon the stage of the applications. But yes, if you are aware of this resources, and if you are aware of this framework that we have, and what are all those things that you can implement at the starting of designing the solutions, that will be great. But even if you have not implemented at the designing stage, or even at the initial stage, you can implement those recommendations at any stage of the application you are working on. I hope I clarify my answer. uh, Coming from the Sanjay, well, WAP is, I mean, WAP is okay. Sanjay, yes. So so WAP is the general recommendations. It is not something to the one particular the architecture style of thing. So it is not related to microservices. It is not related to 3 tier. So it is something at the solutioning level, and it can be implemented at any solutioning pattern or any architectural pattern that you're working on. Then there is a question from Saurabh. How does Azure Advisory work and provide the recommendation? Is there any DB which and does the comparison and share the recommendations? So Saurabh, yes. It so basically at the backend, at the backend, the Azure Advisor runs some kind of a machine algorithm or the AI algorithm at the backend, and will able to give you the recommendations based on your live solutions. And the next question is regarding the DB. Yes, even if when you're as of now, I'm not running any DB, so that is why it is not able to you are not able to see those things in my Azure portal recommendations. But let's say if you are running any DB, which is the part of Azure services, so based on your usage and the other things that are applicable to the DB related, those recommendation will also come as a part of Azure advisory recommendations. I would be interesting to know more about the Azure in terms of how it will works and how do we get the latest CP security issues recommendations. Saurabh, I believe I answer my question. So it works on the it implement certain analytics at the backend, and by running those analytics on your running solutions, the recommendations which you as a customer will able to see in your Azure portals are specific to your applications. So those are not, I reiterate, those are not generic recommendations. Those are recommendations based on the running solutions that you are running in the Azure portal or in the Azure cloud. Rashmita, please let me know if I missed any questions, or are we good to move on?
I think you have taken all the questions, so yeah, you can move on. Yeah.
Sure. Coming. So this is so guys. So this is the again, all those links are included in the deck also. So when we share, you will be able to uh, leverage this and implement under your solutions uh, as a part of this well architecture framework. So first is so these are the 5 pillars, and for each of these sections we have those further links where we can you can go and uh, according to the respective pillar that you have chosen, you will be able to perform those uh, respective recommendations on your solutions. Moving on, again, all those things that we have discussed, that under the cost optimization, what are the all things that you as a customer will able to uh, leverage or do. For example, in the cost optimization, you can go for the reserve instances. You can shut down the services that you are not needed in the non-business hours. You can resize your instances as the demand increase or decrease. Moving to a PAAS, under the operation excellence, we talked about deployment. When we say deployment, try to do the deployments by the ARM templates, biceps, or the Terraform, so that you get the predictability. Making the things by the CI/CD pipelines, by the DevOps, performance efficiency, scalings, monitoring the performance of the application by the various monitoring tools that we have, or the, let's say, by the application insights. Again, coming with the reliability part, how as a customer I can able to handle the failures, and even those when those failures occurs, how as a cloud solution architect or as a developer, how I'm making sure that I'm able to respond to my customer without any downtime or without any bad customer experience. Coming to the security part, we discussed a lot of things. Again, the encryptions, the RBAC thing, the Azure policies, uh, the infra protections. When we say infra protections, for example, if you're running certain VMs or VM skill set, please make sure that you are not leaving any public ports available. So all those things are public access to any of the resources. So all those things and in detail are being mentioned in the public documentations, and even we discuss about the Azure Architecture Center. So those the reference architectures are also available in under those categories that we have discussed. So yes, so let me open this architecture. So first thing, we have the Azure documentation. So on the left hand side, we have the categories available. So for example, if I click on compute, so all those services under the compute part you will be able to see, and you can click on that particular respective service in which you want to in you have interest and you want uh, uh, to use it in your application. So these are the links available, and uh, this is how you can able to uh, have those things working. So from the DB perspective, these are the DBs available. The next come is the Azure Architecture Center. So this is the most important thing that every architect in every company should be aware of. So we have already have the a good amount of architecture reference architectures available, which are which are proven to be uh, which are proven and by the customers running at the enterprise level, or even at the you can say startup level, unicorn level. So for example, let's say I click on uh, this particular thing. So under this thing, these are the categories available. If you see the left hand side, so under the Azure categories, I have the containers. So under the containers, I have the architectures. So under the architectures, all those things with respect to CI/CD pipeline, with respect to security, with respect to the general baseline architecture. So all those architectures are available for each of the particular category that we have. Again, for example, if you go with the mm, web part, and again coming to the architecture parts. So again, anybody who's interested in the app services will able to see architectures with respect to the with respect to the app services under the web part. And same goes for the let's say if somebody is interested in databases, if somebody is interested in analytics. So everything, every architecture in detail with a lot of reference architectures are available. So while designing your applications, or whenever you are uh, trying to create a new solution, or trying to work on a new project, try to just go through these all those uh, the awesome reference architectures that we have, and you will be able to uh, achieve, I'm sure you will be able to achieve most of the things that you're looking for. But in case you have uh, still have any questions, that you want any Microsoft Spock to reach out, you can reach out to the Microsoft account teams, and internally they will be able to align some of the cloud solution architects or some fast track engineers while working directly with you. Coming to the pillars that we have. So this we have already shown that what are the various pillars that we have. Last, the important thing is regarding the review that we have talked about. Now, as of now, it's saying that you can probably, let's say I have a running application in the Azure cloud, and I want to start a review of the WAF review. When we say WAF, the Well Architecture Framework review. So you can give any name to this. Uh, you can click on start, or you can link your Azure subscription. When you link your Azure subscription, it will take your credentials, and accordingly it will ask you. Now it is asking me that what kind of review I'm trying to make. I click on the Well Architecture review. I click on next. What are the various pillars that you're trying to involve? Let's say I click on everything. Now, as a developer, or as a cloud solution architect, or as a DevOps guy, if my fundamental question is, where do I get started? What is the there are so many resources. So how do I get started? So this is the most important and most easiest thing that you can rely on. uh, First is the advisor thing. Second would be the Azure Wall Architecture review. Accordingly, when you keep doing it, it will keep asking you the couple of questions depending upon your SLAs or the numbers that you have given to your customers. So based on those things, you will have those things uh, uh, captured by the analytics running in the backend, and they will be able to give you the precise recommendations uh, based on the running solution that you are running in Azure, and based on that you will be able to have the recommendations available to you. Now it is up to you that how do you want to implement those, and what are the particular you can say the pillar that you want to take it first, and move on to the rest of the pillars in the due course of time. Any questions from anybody as of now?
We have one question from Ravi.
Okay, because I believe we are almost there. So now I will. What will be advisor works with? It, Ravi, can you please come again? I'm sorry. I don't understand the last word that you have written. So this is the review section that we have just discussed now. So resources and applications. So these are the resources that we have. We have already gone through it, but yes, uh, uh, you can go through it, and if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to Microsoft by any of the channels that you have, and if you need that, you need uh, the WAF guidance more, or you need a deep couple of sessions on the WAF thing. Uh, as I mentioned earlier, some cloud solution architect or somebody from the fast track engineering side will able to work closely on the ground with you. With that, uh, I'm done with my deck. But yes, I'm open for questions. So I will take a pause, and uh, will take any questions anybody have it.
Dikshit, Ravi just said that Archimate is an open source tool. So would you like to just go back again to the comment section, and if you can take that question up?
So Ravi, when we say advisor will work on the all the you can say the services that we have available under the Azure part. But let's say, just for the example, as a very layman term, if you have that particular open source running on the running on a VM, let's say any third party tool running on a VM, so advisor will not be able to give recommendation with respect to the third party tool that you're running on a VM. It will able to give the recommendation with respect to the VM, the various components around those VMs, the networking part, the storage part, the security part. But under that particular VM, what are all binaries or the third parties that you're running on? The Azure advisor will not be able to give any recommendation based on that. Any more questions from anybody, please?
We don't have any more questions. So Dikshit, you can just share your social handle in case, if the attendees have questions later, they can just probably reach out to you.
Sure,
So
Rashmita, I will put it in the chat also.
yeah, yeah. So while we are still waiting for a couple of more minutes, if anybody is having a question, this is the survey link with the event ID, and this is the Learn module link, which is again handpicked by Dikshit. So this would be a good Learn module. So to understand what Dikshit covered today. So I would request you all to please take this Learn module link and finish. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to Dikshit. While we can just wait for another couple of more minutes, and if any questions are there, Dikshit is here. He can answer those questions. I've also shared in the chat section Dixit's Twitter handle. So please feel free to reach out to him if you have any question. I don't think we have any question, Dixit. So thank you so much for hosting the session, and thank you all for joining us today. Please do share your feedback about today's session. Also, please feel free to use the Learn module link shared in the chat section. This will give you access to additional resources to take your learning further. Also, please visit our Microsoft Reactor Bengaluru meetup page for more upcoming session. Thank you all once again and enjoy the rest of your day.
Sure. Thanks, Rashida. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for joining in. Thank you.